Hey there, it's Josh, CMO and co-founder of Vendoo. Welcome back to A Seller's Best Friend on the Vendoo YouTube channel, where we discuss all things reselling. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to learn how to thrift for profit. So we'll get into the video and you guys can tell me if this was helpful or not. Thanks. So we all know that thrifting is a really fun hobby or pastime. It's always cool to go out and find interesting items that you like for yourself or for friends and family. But as a reseller, our goal is a little bit different. So when we thrift, we're sourcing for inventory and we need to make sure that the items that we buy are profitable. So these are a few ways that we can determine whether or not we're buying profitable items. So when we're thrifting for profit, the first thing that we want to remember is that we need to search thoroughly. When I say search thoroughly, I mean you have to be patient and very careful as you're looking through the items. It's really difficult to skim through the racks of thousands of clothing items and leave there with the best quality. So we want to make sure that our search is thorough and intentional. Items are often hidden between the racks, between lots of other items. You can even find things that are placed in the wrong sections of the store. So you need to make sure that you're checking throughout the store in all different sections. And very commonly you see items that are tagged incorrectly. They might say women's, but they're men's, or vice versa. They might say kids, but they're men's. So you need to make sure that you're looking through these items very carefully, touching as many items as possible, and checking the tags on all of these items to make sure that you're finding quality items. So as we start thrifting for profit, the first thing that we want to remember is that we need to be selective. We want to be as picky as possible with the items that we're taking. So as you're first beginning to source, it's good to find things that you're knowledgeable about because you'll be able to easily identify the best brands, the highest quality for these type of items because you're already familiar with these items. When you're familiar with these items, you'll be able to fill your cart with great brands immediately and you'll have a lot of things to choose from. Also, when you buy items that you're knowledgeable about, you can make strong listings on the marketplaces. You can describe these items in detail. You can tell the buyers a lot of what to expect from the item that they're receiving. And you can make a very, very strong listing that is gonna have the better chance to sell for you faster because the buyer is gonna know that you're an expert in what you're selling. Okay, so at this point we've used our knowledge to fill up our cart with great branded items. We have a lot of things to choose from, but we're still being picky and selective. So when we're being picky and selective, the next step of the process is we want to determine whether or not these branded items are current or trendy styles. For example, you might find a great pair of designer jeans, and then you realize these jeans are a baggy or a boot cut fit that's not very current or trendy at the moment. So you might want to pass on those and wait until you find a skinnier or slimmer fit that's more popular and that will sell better for you on a secondhand marketplace. All right, so at this point, we've started off with a cart full of great branded items. We've examined them all and narrowed them down by style. So we have branded items that are great current and trendy styles. So the next thing that we want to do, because we're being picky, is we want to check the condition of each of these items. So keep in mind when you're thrifting that all of these clothing items that have been donated are used. Majority of them are used, they've been pre-worn. So you have to always be very careful about the condition of each item. You need to check them for stains. A lot of times there's stains that don't show up well in the store lighting, so you need to check a little bit closer to make sure there's no stains. You often can find small holes or tears in the fabric, which you want to be aware of so that you don't buy an item and then get it home and realize, oh, this item is damaged. It's going to be a lot more difficult for me to sell. And then the goal is to aim for items as close to brand new with tags as possible. So I know it's rare that you find items that are new with the tags in the thrift store, which you do occasionally, but you want to make sure that the items that you're buying meet all of these criteria. So we want them to be great brands, we want them to be great styles, and we also want them to be in great condition. So now that we've been picky and we've narrowed our items down by brand, by style, and by condition, the next thing we need to be aware of is each item's second-hand value. So a lot of times we see designer brand name items and we identify immediately with their expensive retail prices. So we know how much these items sell for in the store at retail. But retail prices and secondhand resale prices don't always add up. They're not always the same. Just because an item is expensive at retail doesn't mean that it sells well in secondhand market, and we need to make sure that we identify this before we take these items home. So for example, a polo Ralph Lauren shirt, everybody's familiar with it, the classic polo 3 buttons with the logo. You find those consistently, and you know that at retail that shirt sells for $70 to even $100 sometimes in designer stores. However, because the market is so oversaturated with those shirts on the secondhand market, you might go on eBay, for example, and see 10,000 of that same shirt for sale. You might only be able to sell a used shirt for $20 to maybe $30 because they're so easily found and so readily available that might not be a good purchase for you. So although you found a shirt and you think it might be a great value, a great bargain, make sure you're familiar with the secondhand value of these items. Also, if you're not familiar with the value, you can use tools like eBay's completed listings, or you can just search for the similar item that are currently listed on the marketplaces that you like to sell on and see what other sellers are selling them for. And most marketplaces will also show you ones that have sold recently and the prices that they've sold for, so that you can make sure that you're leaving enough profit margin between the amount that you're paying in the thrift store and the amount that you could potentially sell the item for. Because remember, our goal is to thrift for profit. So we want to make sure that profit margin is as big as possible. All right, so we've narrowed our items down. We have a cart full of great items. So this is one of the hard parts. So the next step of the process is we need to make sure that when we're thrifting for profit, to always remove your personal opinions. A lot of times we find things and we say, wow, this is really ugly, I would never wear this. Or you see a dress or a pair of shoes and it's definitely not your style, and under no circumstances would you wear this personally. But that doesn't matter in this scenario. In this scenario, we need to determine what sells well. That's all we're concerned about. So if an item doesn't fit your personal style preferences, but it's selling very well, you buy it anyway. The market is always right. We're thrifting to make profit. We're not thrifting for our personal feelings and emotions. So we have to separate that from our selection process and make sure that we're buying based on profit only and not how we feel about the item itself. So my last tip when it comes to thrifting for profit is consistency. You have to be consistent. We know that thrifting is a treasure hunt and you get that thrill of the hunt from not knowing what you're going to find each time. But the problem is that not every session is going to be a good session. Some days you're going to come up empty, or it's going to be a little slower than others. So in order to stop that, you need to thrift consistently so you take a little bit of the pressure off yourself. If you don't thrift consistently enough, you're going to start to become tempted to just buy decent items or okay items because you're going to need enough inventory to hold you over until the next time you source. So we don't want to start buying worse inventory just because we need enough products to post to maintain our sales. We want to make sure that we're buying good and quality items every time. Also, because this reselling space is a very lucrative space, there's some competition. There's a lot of resellers out there looking for those same gems and those same items that you're looking for. So being consistent and sourcing frequently as possible is going to give you a leg up on that competition and make sure that you secure enough of those quality items to maintain your business. So thanks for watching this video today. I hope that it was helpful and that you learned a few things that you can apply to your reselling business. If you're interested, leave a comment below. We would love to hear your feedback and communicate with you a little bit about this topic. Also, remember to share this video with any friends that would benefit from it, and like and subscribe to our channel for more reseller tips and software updates about our software Vendoo, and we'll talk to you soon.